It really should be no surprise that spending 2 days watching 70 teams of 12 from boxes all around the UK and some a little bit further away can give you incredible insight into the current condition of CrossFit, at least in this part of the world. Well, Strength in Depth Origins 2023 has come and gone, with Team Motion Thunder taking the first place, dethroning the previous champions Jolly Sailors Invincibles, although they managed to secure second place, and the Training Design finishing in third. JST Compete then won the Invitational division, and we'll get back to them a little bit later too. But beyond just looking at who won the event, we can actually learn a lot about the current state of CrossFit within the UK from this weekend at Strength in Depth. So here's a few of the things that I've noticed. And if you don't care about that, I shouldn't tell you, but I will. Just skip to the last 2 minutes of this video if you want to see something truly special. Now, if you haven't skipped to the end, but you've stuck around, before we start talking about the athletes, let's just look at the volunteers. Because Sid had a great team of Sidders, the people that are actually doing the hard work behind the scenes to help that competition run smoothly. The workforce put in an incredible effort, and don't forget the judges that we know are vital for a competition to run. And the fact that we have so many people passionate about CrossFit that they are willing to give up their time to help out at these competitions is a really encouraging sign. Particularly when we see more and more competitions being added to the calendar, we know these volunteers are vital. But of course, everybody's time is finite, so with more competitions and even events like High Rocks taking from the same pool of volunteers, we could reach a breaking point. And we're only going to get more volunteers if they enjoy the experience. So having spoken with the workforce and having been a part of it at Strength in Depth Origins, it was encouraging to see that people were very positive. They felt appreciated, looked after, they'd had a good time, and of course the shoes and goodie bag didn't hurt either. But of course, Strength in Depth Origins first and foremost is a competition. So what can we learn about the competitive nature of CrossFit? Well, of course, this year with the move to the worldwide ranking system, we're going to see how competitive different parts of the world truly are. Now, obviously, competing in a team of 12 is very different to competing as an individual or even on a team of 4, as multiple events highlighted that you're only as fast as your slowest teammate. But that being said, it didn't stop individuals from having their moments to shine. For example, Kelly Friel out of CrossFit Southampton showed why she is a multi-time CrossFit Games champion. Her team did incredibly well. Many of them got their moments to shine, but a number of Kelly's performances really got to demonstrate why she is a threat to anyone at the CrossFit Games that happens to be in her age group. But it's actually the other end of the spectrum that I wanted to talk about, especially with looking to the future of CrossFit. And that's because I recognized a number of the faces of people competing because I'd seen them in September competing at the British Teen Championships. And just a few months later, here they are holding their own on these teams, going up against people that are not limited to their age bracket. And it is just incredible to see how in a few short months, they've gotten so much better, so much stronger. And of course, it's not just at Strength in Depth Origins. We see them popping up at competitions all over the place, doing incredibly well. We see them posting up on their Instagram that they're hitting PBs, it seems, almost every other week. So looking at these young athletes, the future is incredibly bright. Now, talking about ridiculously good teen athletes, why don't we head on over and talk about JST Compete? Because they had a few of them on their team. Chiara Silva had to fill in last minute for an unwell Emma Toole, so big shoes to fill. She did incredibly well, and the irony is not lost on me that one of the shortest athletes I know had to fill in for somebody whose name is Toole. And let's not forget they also had Ed Cook, who I believe is still 19, so technically we can still call him a crazy fit teen, even though he's very soon going to lose that title when he turns 20. But the reason I want to talk about JST Compete is this. When we talk about training programs, training camps, and things like that, even in the UK, if you talk to the majority of people, they're going to mention names like Mayhem, Invictus, Underdog, Athletics. But it was nice to see JST Compete demonstrate just what they can do when all their fit people get together and compete. And I know they're not the only one in the UK. We have a number of training programs, and majority of boxes will have a member or two that are perhaps following some of these training programs or going away and doing some weekend workouts with them. But it's another thing when you get to see them all together and see what they can do as a team and across the board how good they are. And it's not just in the UK, we're seeing this happening all over Europe as well. So the question is, how long before these teams are mentioned in the same breath as your Mayhem and Invictus? Now, as wonderful as it is to focus on these incredible athletes or these incredible teams, the greater CrossFit community is something that SID Origins really allows to shine. With so many boxes putting in teams, they actually had 170 teams go through the qualifiers, more than any other year, with just the top 70 making it to the in-person competition. And these teams are not comprised of full-time athletes. These are the people you will meet when you go to the box. Yes, there'll be some coaches, maybe some box owners, but there will also be people that just have regular day jobs. Maybe they're just working in an office somewhere, or perhaps they're just a full-time mum. But we're getting to see them compete at this level, showing that the methodology works and how it can be expressed in competition. And with this being a representation of local gyms and local boxes, people were traveling down to see them, to cheer on their local heroes for the weekend. But they didn't just cheer on their box or their team. You know what it's like at the games when you see Noah Olsen or Cole Sager go out and cheer on that athlete that still needs to finish the workout. Well, we got to see that kind of thing and then some. For example, Sunday morning started with something that none of us ever want to see, and that is a ladder of heavy thrusters. Now, after Zach George finished the final 3 thrusters at 120 kilograms, what did he do? He turned around and cheered on CrossFit Bath that were in the lane next to him. 2 of the team that were having near misses on their 120 kilogram thrusters, well, with that extra push and motivation, they were both able to hit it and finish out that workout. And if that wasn't thrilling enough, well, let's jump to the end of Sunday, the final heat of the final workout on the final day, because that gave us what is probably one of the most memorable and incredible moments that will ever happen at SID Origins. It was a moment that was almost reminiscent of the Capitol, obviously not to that scale, but in the final heat, everyone has finished except CrossFit Bath. They are just releasing their final 2 athletes. And now the whole crowd and the athletes that are on the floor are all there cheering on Natty and Sam to get through the final part of this workout. And if this picture from Moores Media doesn't do it justice, well, I'm right there with my phone and I've captured the moment that I'd like to share. Unfortunately, at the time I was thinking Instagram and not YouTube, so I didn't turn my phone on its side, so I apologize for that, but just watch this finish. What an incredible end to a fantastic weekend. Now, I know there is discussion. Is CrossFit dying? Is CrossFit dead? But when I look at the athletes and when I look at the community, at least from where I'm standing, it is very much alive.